Hi everybody, welcome back. Tonight we're going to be playing with this Blue Night rubber stamps called Girls with Pets. What a fun silhouette stamp set. So you're going to get, well, let me show you here. You're going to get the larger girl, the smaller girl, and the two terriers. So you have the larger girl, small, and they are separate, 4 separate stamps. And then you have this little girl coaxing the cat here, and then a smaller one here. So wonderful set. The cats are all connected. The girls with the dogs are separate. Here you can see a quick card I made using the Blue Night Rubber Stamps cloud stencil. And then I stamped the girl and then the 2 dogs running after her. Now what's neat about the cloud stencil is it has the clouds on the top. And then you can see down at the bottom here, I just used the little hills for the little green area there. So it's like she's having a fun day in the park playing with the dogs, right? So let's see what else we can do with this stamp set today. I think I want to use it with this background and have her running across the boardwalk. I think it'll be really easy to color this in, again, with some pastels and just have, look, she's the perfect size to fit in there. So I know summer's over, just thinking about Leah hanging out at the beach. Fun set. So we're going to start off with our stamp positioner, and we've taken the foam out because these are red rubber cling stamps. I have a piece of Nina Solar White cut down to 5 1/4 by 4. And I put my background stamp, which is going to be, that's called Quiet Waters, and it just again reminds me of the beach. And put my magnet at the top there. And we're going to do real basic inking of this. We just want an outline. So we're going to stamp up. I'm using the Catherine Pooler Midnight inks because they do dry pretty quickly and they smear less. My other inks, they don't dry as fast. And in this, process here, I want it to dry pretty quickly. So we're going to ink that up. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. I'm going to leave the stamp in the Misty and move that aside. And I'm going to bring in some of my pan pastels and do some coloring. So I think I'll start with the Day and Night palette. Just this one here. I'm sorry, Sunrise Sunset palette. You can pick up this palette from Blue Night Rubber Stamps. If you're not familiar with pan pastels, they're highly pigmented artist quality chalks, but they don't have any of that dusty residue. They're very easy to apply, very easy to blend, very easy to clean up. Just a little soap and water. They don't stain anything, but I like them because you'll see how quickly this comes together. When you purchase the palettes from Blue Night Rubber Stamps, they have 2. This is the Sunrise Sunset, which is going to be your warm tones, your red, oranges, and yellows. And then the Day and Night palette is going to have your blues and your purples. Each palette does come with a white. It comes with 7. It comes in this storage tray, which is a nice, easy value. It also comes with some tools, which are called soft tools, which will help you blend and apply these pastels. So they're not an oil-based pastel. They're very dry, and it'll come with some of these tools that make it easy for you. Basically, between the 2 palettes, you're going to have almost every color you need, but they do sell some additional a la cartes. So I believe in this palette, I think these 2 or these 3 are my additional colors, but these 3 are my additional colors. So the rest of these come in the palette. So we're going to start off with, let's do the sky first. And I'm going to take my little soft tool here, and I'm going to start off with some Diary Yellow and just go kind of across my scene here. There is a little bit of orange left in there from the last project I just did, but that's okay. I really just want to streak that color in. Now, if you want to be heavier handed, you can. If you make a mistake, all you have to do is take an eraser to it. I'm going to add a little bit, tiny bit of magenta into this. That's it. I like that. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Perfect. Then I found some of these smaller kind of blending tools, and you can use Q-tips. And I'm going to take some of that we have red iron oxide and we have burnt sienna shade, which are kind of like dark brown, red colors. I'm going to go into those, kind of fill in my mountain here. Very easy to do. Now I'm imagining this is a beach over here, so I'm going to use some of that yellow ochre. Kind of fill in my beach area. Okay, and before I put this palette away, I'm going to go in and do my boardwalk. Let me grab one of the larger tools, larger soft tools. And again, just going to go in with the red iron oxide and the burnt sienna, following the planks. Okay, then I'm going to go in with the red iron oxide and the smaller tool. Just kind of go in and randomly highlight into those couple spots in the planks there. Make it look like there's some high and low points. Planks. And then again, I can go back in with that sponge and just blend that out. That's it. Now anywhere that my pan pastels kind of get out of place there, just going to use a soft eraser. This is an electric eraser. And I'm just going to erase that out of place. It's not like ink. It's there. It's not permanent. Over here, my fingers kind of smudged a little bit. That's it. Very, very easy to clean up anything that's not where it's supposed to be. And now all we have to do is add our water. So again, just going to grab one of those soft tools. I want one that has a little bit more surface area. And I'm going to bring in my day and night palette. The other thing I will tell you is you do want to pick up a colorless blender. Colorless blender is going to help smooth anything out. If you didn't want this to be so streaky looking, you could put some colorless blender on there. But I'm okay with it. I just want to add some blue, some water here. Now, it does help if you want to make sure that it doesn't kind of overlap. We can use a little piece of paper here kind of as our mask. Just make sure we don't get any blue in that area there. And the day and night palette, like I said, has our blues, our purples, our greens. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of turquoise to start off with, which is the lighter blue. Kind of add that into the center, just pulling that again across. Then I'm going to add some ultramarine blue, which is kind of a brighter blue. And you'll see, look at how easily those two colors blend together seamlessly. And then just a tiny bit of the phthalo blue, which is a darker blue. It's giving us some shadows, okay? Now I can go in with my smaller little blending applicators and clean up anywhere where I want that to be a little more blended in, a little closer to the coastline there. Can use a Q-tip for this. Now, for the blue there, I feel like, okay, I want that to be blended a little smoother. I'm going to grab a cleaner sponge. Oops. And the really easy way to clean these is just to wipe them off on a paper towel. That's all you got to do until they're clean. I'm going to bring in my colorless blender. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that colorless blender, and right on my blue, I'm just going to pull that across. And what that's going to do is kind of blend those colors together so they're less streaky. They are just a little more blended together. Okay, so we have a little bit more uniform look to our blue. And of course, you can do that to your sky, but I like my skies to be a little streaky looking. And if you wanted to do that on your deck, on your boardwalk, you could do that as well. All right, that is it for the background. We are going to come in with some chalk in a little bit, but I want to stamp the little girl. So we want to re-stamp our background. That's why we left our stamp in the stamp positioning tool back in our MISTI. Okay. So we're going to tuck this back into the bottom right corner of our MISTI there. Put our magnet back onto the sky. And we're going to re-ink this because we want all of this to pop back into the foreground here. We don't want it into the background. So very easily to ink up our stamp. And you know what? While I'm here, let me add the new stamp pad. So I'm going to add one of these magnet pieces that's going to help me add the universal handle. And these are great. These are from Blue Night Rubber Stamps as well. This is going to help any of you guys that have the dropsies when you're stamping. You know what I mean? We've all done it, where the ink pad has fell out of your hands onto your beautiful project. Well, Blue Night Rubber Stamps has the solution for you. You're going to take one of these little metal plates. You're going to put that right into the middle of the stamp pad. That's going to stick down. And they have this universal handle. They have two. This is the original handle, which is the larger one, which doesn't fit as well because there's a little groove there. And then they have the small one now, which is called the universal handle. And you can see that it's a little bit thinner than the original handle. And now I don't have to worry about dropping that ink pad. If you're someone who has arthritis and it's a little harder for you to hold on to the ink pads, look at that nice handle now to do that. So you want to have a couple of those metal plates on hand. I do them on my most used ink pads, pretty much all of my black ink pads, my Versamark ink pad, but my most used ink pads, it's a great fit. And I don't have to worry about getting the dropsies, dropping the ink pad, it not having enough grip on the sides. And the new universal handle fits all of the oval ink pads. So pretty much any ink pad, VersaFine, Versamark, Memento, the Catherine Pooler, the Altenew, you name it, it's going to fit on there. All right, so that is stamped beautifully. I'm going to clean up my stamp. Let that dry a second. If you've never checked out Blue Night Rubber Stamps, I urge you to check out their webpage, but also they have a Fans of Blue Night Rubber Stamps on Facebook. A lot of beautiful creations, designs there, and they do have a YouTube channel, so you'll want to follow that as well. A lot more beautiful ideas and designs from the owner herself, Lynn, and using these wonderful stamps. They are made here in the United States, high quality red rubber stamps. All right, so I want to just add this little girl running on the boardwalk here. All right. So I'm going to put her right about there in the middle. But before I stamp her, I'm going to grab a little piece of acetate. A little piece of acetate came off of a stamp package. Tuck that into the bottom right corner. Put my magnet on there, and I'm going to ink this up and see if I like her placement before I finalize where she's at. If I think she's too high, too low, then I can move her. Okay, I think that actually looks pretty good. I mean, that looks realistic. She's just out for a little jog. Okay, we're going to move that out of the way. Put our magnet back on. Okay, we're going to fully ink her up now. Do a couple stampings so she's nice and dark with our silhouette images. So it's nice about using a stamp positioning tool. And you can use your Tim Holtz stamp positioning tool, your mini Misty, your large Misty. If you have the Stampin' Up, Stamparatus, any of those will work. It just makes it easier when you're stamping silhouette stamps and getting a nice solid black image. Sometimes it takes a couple of inkings. It also depends on what kind of paper you're using. This is Nina Classic Crest Solar White, so it's 80-pound cardstock, so it's very smooth. But if you are doing this on watercolor paper, maybe you've done it on pan pastel paper, they have a little bit more texture to them. You might have to ink it up a few more times. I'm going to do one more time, and then I think she looks good right there. She's done. All right, so I'm going to leave that the way it is, clean my stamp up, give that ink just a second to dry and set in place. That ink is archival from Catherine Pooler. I think we need to add a few birds to this image. So we're going to bring in the Birds 2 set from Blue Night Rubber Stamps. And we have a couple of birds here that kind of look like seagulls. I like that one bird there, so maybe we'll just add him. Oh, I lost one. Do those two birds. Just always like to add a couple birds when you're doing scenery. All right, they look great. Going to remove our panel here. And the last thing I want to do is I do want to color in some of that beach grass, just to give it a little bit more pop of color. So to do that, I'm going to bring in some color pencils. And you can use markers, color pencils, whatever you have. I like the color pencils on here. This is the Carbothello Stabilo Chalk Pastel pencils. And I'm just going to go in and just lightly add some colors. Now, to me, this looks like it's some dry beach grass. I'm going to go and add some green. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's your interpretation of art. If you want to take your time and make it perfect, you certainly can. lighter green. Okay, and I think that green really just gives it a little bit more dimension. So that's all it is. Very simple, very easy to do. Let me know which one you like better. Do you like the little girl running on the beach, or do you like the little girl running with her dogs? Take a look. Comment down below which one you like better. Again, everything that I used will be listed down in the description for you below. The stamp set is called Girls with Pets from Blue Night Rubber Stamps. I also used the Quiet Waters and the Birds 2 set. You can also pick up the Pan Pastels from Blue Night Rubber Stamps as well. Check out their Facebook page, Fans of Blue Night Rubber Stamps, and their YouTube page. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. I do videos on stamping, coloring, foiling, card making, you name it. If it's crafty, I've probably tried it. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep on stamping. Bye-bye.